Hello keen painters! Welcome to this Colour of the Month painting guide. In this series we'll explore how to use your Citadel paint range to get some exciting colour combinations and army schemes. This month we'll be painting Sickly Green, which can be used on an endless amount of miniatures. It works great on orc skin, cloth and well anything Nurgle. In this guide we'll be showing you how to paint Sickly Green on an Orruk War Clan's Brute Rager. We'll also look at how we can use the same recipe, apply using different techniques to achieve an alternate result. Like on this Plague Bearer, which can be used in Warhammer 40,000 and in Age of Sigmar. We've undercoated our model using Wraithbone spray. This gives us a great foundation for our Sickly Green, and will make the overall colour nice and bright. We're going to start by base coating all the areas we want to be Sickly Green using Death Guard Green. We're going to thin it down with a small amount of water and then apply it to the model in 2 thin layers. On this Orruk, we'll be applying it all over the skin. If, after 2 thin layers, you can still see a small amount of Wraithbone underneath, you may need to apply a 3rd layer. Just remember to let each coat dry before moving on to the next one. We'll be using a medium base brush for this, but you can use any brush you like. Alternatively, if you're painting a model that's predominantly green, you can speed up the process and instead use Death Guard Green spray. This works great for models like Plague Bearers, who are mostly green and are usually fielded in large groups. If you're painting a whole squad of these gross demons, using Death Guard Green spray will help you get them on the gaming table quickly. Now that we've applied our base coat of Death Guard Green, we're going to move on to shading it. This is super simple. We're going to apply Beltane Green straight from the pot all over the model's skin. Make sure to work into all the recesses. This will help define all those huge muscles on the Orruk and all those horrible lumps and boils on the Plague Bearer. We're using a medium shade brush for this, but once again you can use any brush you like. Once you've finished, let the shade fully dry before moving on to the next step. A good hour should be plenty of time. And there we go, the Beltane Green has fully dried and we can already see that it's really helped to define those muscles on our Brute Rager. Next, we're going to layer Elysian Green over all the raised areas of the skin, and we'll be using a small layer brush for this. You can use any brush you like for this, but because we only want the paint on the raised areas and we want to leave all those recesses, it may be easier to use a smaller brush for this. Make sure to thin your paint down with some water first and apply the Elysian Green in 2 or 3 thin layers. Just remember to let each coat dry before moving on to the next one. If you prefer, you can also dry brush Elysian Green instead of layering it. Our Plague Bearer, for example, is covered in loads of awesome detail and raised areas, so it would work excellently for dry brushing. Simply get some Elysian Green onto your brush. We're using a small dry brush for this, and then work the paint into the bristles. We're using some blue roll for this, but some kitchen towel or cardboard will work just as well. Once you've got a good amount of paint onto your brush, start gently moving your brush back and forth over the model. We recommend applying it lightly at first. This lets you control how much paint is coming off the brush much easier. Keep working your brush across the model until you're happy. We've finished layering the Elysian Green over all the raised areas on our Brute Rager, and you can see he's looking awesome. Our Plague Bearer looks great too. Although we used the same colours, because one of these models was dry brushed, we're left with 2 great but completely different results. You could easily leave the Sickly Green here if you wanted, and go ahead with painting the other details on your miniature, like their weapons. But there's one last super quick optional step that you can do before moving on to those other colours. That simple step is to use Ogryn Camo to highlight all the sharp edges and detail. Now you can edge highlight if you like, but you can also get a great result with just a quick dry brush. We're going to do this in the exact same way as we dry brushed earlier. Get some Ogryn Camo onto your brush. We're using a small dry brush again for this. Work the paint into the bristles using some blue roll or kitchen towel, and then once you're ready, start gently flicking your brush over the model. This time we're only looking to highlight the sharpest details, so focus on areas like the face and avoid the flat areas. You can do this on our Plague Bearer too, using the Ogryn Camo to pick out areas like the folds and all the open wounds. Whatever you decide to highlight with Ogryn Camo is completely up to you. Just remember to be gentle. We can always go back and add more later, but if we dry brush too heavily, it may be hard to fix. And there we are, our Sickly Green on our Orruk Brute Rager and our Plague Bearer is complete. As you can see, this scheme can be used on a variety of models and armies across Age of Sigmar and Warhammer 40,000. We focused on 2 different styles of skin in this video, but the exact same method can be used on cloth too. Here's Poxlix from Skabik's Plague Pack. His robes are painted in the very same Sickly Green and they look great. Imagine how striking a whole swarm of Plague Monks could look with robes like that. For more tutorials, tips and tricks, check out our videos on the Warhammer YouTube channel. Or head to your local Warhammer store where our amazing staff will be happy to help. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this video. See you next time.